So, episode 5, if you're made it here, thank you so much, my darlings. This next episode is with the beautiful Sam, but she's changed her name since we done this podcast. So we will be saying a lot of her old name, but her new business name is Luxe Quirk. So I will have all the Instagram, all our details in the post below, but please just ignore the old business name. We have got a new, but please enjoy episode 5 with our beautiful Sam. Enjoy. And welcome to my wee podcast, and we have Sam today with us, my beautiful wee soul from the other part of the world in America. Sam is the owner of Witch of the Woods, my darlings. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok. We know how much I love TikTok and how much I enjoy social media, and that's what we were actually talking about not too long before we came on, wasn't it, Sam? But would you like to take a few moments to introduce yourself? Because I know there's lots to talk about, my darling.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that awesome intro. And, apologies to everyone for being from America, believe me. It's a fucking dumpster fire.
Technically, you lived in Scotland. You're Scottish. We adopted you.
Thank you. I'll take it. Yes. Scottish by association. Thank you very much. Yeah. And I can't wait to be back.
Yes, not long. Not long.
But yeah, so I've been Witch of the Woods for several years now, and I'm an intuitive reader and spiritual consultant. That's honestly, that's kind of the fancy pants way of putting it. I just tell everyone I'm everyone's weird magical aunt.
Yes.
That's what it is, because I am in real life all of those things.
Definitely. That's how we get along so much. We are weirdos in our own wee weird way, which works, and I enjoy it. Like, there's nothing better than having that, like, that just that wee feeling inside that you're like, tell me. And it's like, no, everything's, I feel as if when you're with people, it's like, right, tell me. Yep. Or even sometimes people will just open up. Like, I've done before, obviously coming on, because I know I spoke to you forever, but like yeah. But see, that way, like, people will sit, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, we've been speaking for 45 minutes and I've actually only said yeah, get you. And exactly. That person's just let it go, let it all out.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing is, it's funny you say that, because like since I was little, like people have just, like, strangers open up to me and tell me their life story. So, and it was always like mind-boggling. I'm like, I don't know what you are vibing off of me, but now I just met you, and now I know you're divorced and your wife cheated on you, and it's really difficult. I'm so sorry. But since doing readings, and I've read professionally for about 12 years now. I've been a witchy woo-woo bitch for probably 20. But ever since I started reading, I've gotten so much that, like, it's like talking to my best friend. It's like talking to my sister, and I've kind of really stepped into my weird magical aunt era, and like, yeah, I'm loving it. It's what I'm here for.
Oh, definitely. Would you say you have a preferred method? See, when you're doing like your readings and obviously doing your consultancy work, is there a method that you prefer over other methods, or do you like to just go with the flow and see how it goes for each an individual that comes across you?
Well, when people sign up for readings with me or book me for readings, usually if they're booking like a full session, they're booking for a tarot reading. But all of my tarot readings, I begin, as of somewhat recently, with my charms. And a lot of people haven't heard of charm readings. And so I love telling people about the charms, because I think they're so fun. I didn't know about them either before I came across some girl doing them on YouTube a few years ago. And I was like, that is super cute. That's really whimsical, right up my street. And when I say charms, it's, the stuff you would find on bracelets, necklaces, pendants, all that kind of shit. I throw some buttons in there. I've got like little Legos and dollhouse furniture in there, and stick it all in a bag, and you throw them like you would throw bones or throw rooms or something like that. And then you tell the story. that gets laid
Love that.
out. So I start my tarot readings with that now, just
Right.
as an
Okay.
opening message for the person. And then we
Nice.
dive into the reading. And it may or may not have anything to do with the reading. And
Yeah.
that's cool, you know? It's actually kind of a way that people can get sort of like a twofer. You know,
Hmm.
you might get one question answered and then another question answered, you know?
Definitely. No, definitely. Because I feel as if the charms isn't as known really. Because I only like know you, and there's like
Hmm.
one other girl that I know that really does charm readings.
Hmm.
You're the only one I know that does it professionally. She does it just for friends and family.
Okay.
If I want a wee charm reading, I'm like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? But it's not shown a lot. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people don't know it's there, and it's a good option. I feel as if sometimes with charms, like you're saying, obviously it might not be anything to do with the reading. In some cases that's like perfect, because it's also giving them that second subject of, right, okay, I didn't even think about that, but you
Hmm.
mentioning that is highlighted, because I feel as if the readings always are highlighting what needs to be highlighted.
Yes, absolutely. And, um, you know, and the thing is that I had kind of drifted from doing the
Hmm.
charms for a while. And so that's
Right.
why I reincorporated it into the readings that I've been doing regularly.
Hmm.
But because I realize it's not as known and I always get asked about it, that like
Yeah.
I'm really bringing it back. I'm actually gonna have like I'm having more on my socials about it. So you
Yeah.
know, for people who are curious, it'll be there pretty soon, or
Yes.
depending when you hear this, it'll have been there.
Yeah, definitely. The all I will be putting obviously all your social tags down below. So once our wee podcast go live, everybody, if they're listening, they'll just be able to click and they'll get directed
Yeah.
to either your TikTok or your Instagram. So all those draft videos
Yep.
that you told me about earlier will be
Yep.
posted
Yes.
by the time this comes out.
They'll be on. Okay. Yes. But
If you
yeah.
can't gather from listening to this already, we did have a conversation before coming on.
Oh
There's
my
lots
gosh.
of things on our checklist, especially
Yep.
social media and being a small business
Hmm.
and being obviously psychics and mediums and in that intuitive realm, shall we
Hmm.
say? Yeah, it can be challenging.
That's putting it generously.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the perfect word for it, is challenging.
Yeah.
It's so I know that obviously you're talking about your charms and your readings and stuff like that. So mentioned your TikTok and your Instagram. You've got your website as well. Do you have different types of readings that you offer? To see how you were mentioning obviously your charms and your tarot. Do you use any other forms of divination within your readings that people can book instead of like a full reading? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, when people the way that I put my stuff out there,
yeah,
and I do think this has a lot to do with the way that people showcase their services in America versus how I've seen them
yeah,
showcased in Scotland, and it is different. And I
yeah,
did have
totally.
to adjust when I moved there and readjust
Mhm.
when I moved back.
Yeah.
So a full reading
Hmm.
pretty much will include any and all of the divination tools that I use. So primarily tarot, but there's always oracle cards involved, and then now the charms are involved.
Yeah.
What I have started offering recently are mini charm readings because people are
Oh,
really curious,
yeah.
but they might not want to invest in a full reading. So I'm kind of offering like tasters. Um,
Yeah. That's what I was
so
going to say. Is a wee like a taster session, like a mini reading, like we
yeah,
would do
exactly.
at the fairs. Do you know what I mean? Those taster sessions.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, since I'm not physically there at the
Yeah.
moment, woe betide, um, I do them online. And so I can do them via email, I can do them via voice memo or like a video, which I really like doing the videos or the pictures because you get to see
Yeah.
what everything means and go and like kind of make your own connections too, like even while I'm
Definitely.
talking or writing. And
Hmm.
they're, you know, it's 10 minutes or, you know, it's a pretty good page for $25. I think in pounds, it's probably about 20 pounds, maybe
I'm like,
less.
is that all?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're really cheap, because I know the American prices are. totally different to what
They
obviously we are. So with you charging such a small fee, like that, we need to promote that everywhere. Like that'll get grabbed up so much because that's really cheap.
absolutely no, and I know exactly what you mean, because again, I'm totally familiar with the differences in price scales.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so like if you booked a full reading with me, granted,
Mm-hmm.
100% different from the
Oh,
pricing you would see in Scotland.
definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, y'all are so undervalued there, and I am so sorry. It is.
But you know what? It's probably a good topic that we've got into though, talking about the differences between obviously like UK prices to American prices, even the Europe. I feel as if like the UK and European prices are quite similar,
Mhm.
but obviously when it comes to the American prices, like you guys are,
It's
and I
wacky.
feel as if like living expenses wise, we're not that far behind you.
That's see, and you're 100% right. That's very true.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like the way that everything's increased financially, like I feel that we are, like you're saying, as UK readers are underappreciated when it comes
Mhm.
to, and I feel as if that is more to do probably with the history of it here,
Mhm.
compared to the way that it is treated over in America. I feel as if
Mhm.
yous are like it is valued and looked at a bit more of a higher regard the more it is here. I feel as if we're kind of still like hiding in a sense as
Mhm.
much as it is on social media.
Mhm.
Like if I was to phone like the local church to hire the hall to do a spooky night,
Yeah.
not a chance of they letting me hire that hall. They
Uh-huh.
think I'm going to be taking demons in.
Right, right.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Well,
I have phoned them and tried.
yeah. Well, and it's funny you say that, because there's one event that I did when I was over there, and that organizer had the same event in two locations,
Mhm.
and she could let me do one location but not the other because one of them was in a church, and they had had a reader there previously and had gotten complaints,
Yes.
and that was all I knew about it. And I was like, well, I won't ask any questions, but
And
that's my guess.
it's so strange because when they talk about the Bible, they'll mention obviously about speaking to spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that not what we're doing?
Right. And you talk about, how God is within you and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But,
Yeah.
if you talk about how, like, oh, we are divine and, the divinity is within us, then people think that that's like sacrilege.
And it's definitely not. It is the higher being light. I'm sorry, I am not putting any darkness in me.
Yeah.
I want as much light as possible,
Yeah.
but I just have it in a different way. Do you know what I mean? That's like it's just another. Well, as I like put it in, like it's like a religion. I feel as if you've never fitted into your own religion,
Mm-hmm.
spiritualism tends to be the religion for everybody. Like everybody's background is
Mm-hmm.
different, but we've all got that similarity of feeling that we don't fit in.
Yeah. And I would hesitate to even call it a religion. Now, I know spiritualism is a term
Yeah,
that kind
but
of
like
was established with like mediumship and psychic readings and stuff kind of
yeah,
back in the
you talk
early
about like
20th century.
the SNU, we are there for Finley College and stuff like that. They see it as a religion. Do you know what I mean? They see it as their spiritualism and
Okay.
me personally, I don't like to kind of put it under that bracket because I was
Right.
brought up in the Catholic Church and I was like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I'm like, don't really
Yeah.
want to be. I just find it as like my wee group of people, my wee group of woo woo.
Hmm. No, absolutely. And I'm just happy saying that that's my family of choice, and that's like my
Yes,
spiritual circle.
100%. Yes,
And
perfect.
yeah, because I also was raised in the Catholic Church, and again, that's a different thing because I think the Catholic Church is also very different in the U.S. versus the UK, in my experience. But
Yeah,
because here it was mostly you just went to church and no one talked about
yeah.
it. And then now, also, I grew up in the north of the United States, and now I live
Mhm.
in the south of the United States, which is the Bible Belt. So you talk about trying to call a church and book something. You, I mean, there are so few spiritual events here. There's so few witchy events here where I could throw a rock and hit 5 markets or events when I was in Scotland, which was a beautiful, wonderful thing. And how I met you and how I met so
Yes.
many other people that you
Yes.
told me, like, still ask about me, which is so sweet and heartwarming. I
Yes.
really, really appreciate that.
But
But
we
like,
missed you. You fitted in so well with us. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was
mhm,
you were yeah, there's obviously been paths crossed and paths life, like, do you know what I mean, that past life
yeah.
syndicate that we've all been through. Like,
Hmm.
it's definitely one of those. You're the type of person that when you meet you for the first time, well, this is, I know how I feel, is it's that comfortableness and the familiarity of,
Hmm.
I get her and she gets me.
Yeah.
You're on that same wave. Do you know what I mean? You don't even need to say words. It's like you've
Yeah.
got the look and you get it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you're having a good day, you're like,
Hmm.
that's all I had to do, and you're like, got you. Got you.
Yeah. No,
So
it's yeah.
it's definitely you're missed. You're definitely missed. But
I miss y'all a lot. I
I
really do.
miss it's sad what you're saying though, with the whole, obviously with you moving from the north to the south though as well, and the difference in how hard it is for you to get yourself out there because of the strictness, probably
Hmm.
the best word to say, and the how would they're not open. Do you know what I mean? They're very
Oh yeah.
much in their bubble.
Yeah.
Probably the nice way
Absolutely.
to explain it. And it's like a fear. It's that, like, when we talk about, obviously when we do our work, like, and we've got that fear. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't
Hmm.
allow us to do it.
Yeah.
It's that it's the fear of the unknown, and it's like this
Hmm.
one has been around for a long, long time.
Oh, you know, it's so funny you said the fear of the unknown because I don't know if you find this in your readings, but every so often I'll find that like a string of readings in a day will have a very similar theme,
Yes.
or over a period of a few weeks, I'll have a certain theme come up. And recently it's been fear of the unknown.
Hmm. No, I feel as if that happens. Do you not think it happens? And it depends as well. Like we were talking about earlier, obviously with the moon cycle, and I'm like, roll on the full moon. Um, but I feel as if that there you do get periods, and especially at the fairs, I feel as if you always do have like a pinnacle repetitive
Mm-hmm.
meaning for the day. But I
Mm-hmm.
also feel sometimes that's for us, that we
Yes.
meaning, because it's like the only way we're going to listen is
Yeah.
through other people.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been sitting there and I've discussed this with other intuitives too, going, that's for me. Well,
Yeah.
that's for me too.
Mhm. Because I'll say that to people and I'll go, I can relate to that because in my circumstance, da 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 da. And I feel as if sometimes spirit and my guides will put in, Justine, remember?
Hmm.
And they'll be like, right, tell them this because you know exactly. Because sometimes I think, depending on the wording that I use, some
Hmm.
people can look at you and you've got that blank face and you're like, do you understand what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
go, I don't know. And I go, right, I'm going to give you an example of my life.
Hmm.
And I hope this makes sense. And that
Hmm.
normally is, and I'll say it and then they go, oh, yeah. And it's like that
Yes.
light bulb. It's like just the way that you've changed the word, and that person's like, you're scary.
Yes. Well,
And I'm
see,
like, don't say that, and then I scare myself.
no, I had a girl yesterday tell me I that it felt like I was ripping her skin off, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's intense. And she's like, no, no, no. It has to be like, you're fine. That was very good. It was spot on. But like, I needed to be called out. And I hate this phrase, but read to filth.
Yeah. I'd hate that when I'd end up doing that to someone because I can feel it coming. I'm going like in my face, and they're like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "I'm about to give you into trouble."
No,
And
see,
they go, "Right, okay." And then I say it, and they're like, and I'm like, "Makes sense." And they're like, yeah. I'm like,
hmm,
we're gonna sort it because
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people realise though as well that their readings won't change until they start doing the work, and that's
yes,
why they get like they could come to you and you'll give them the reading, and then maybe 3 months later they come to me and I'll
Mm-hmm.
give them the exact same information. They're like, "Oh, that's what Sam said to me," and I'm
Yep.
like, "So why have you not done anything about it?"
There's someone I'm very, very close to in my life that I've read for frequently over the years and says to me, "Oh, I always get that. Why do I always
Yeah.
get that?" I'm like, "Because you're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to keep getting it until you learn the lesson."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
I
crazy.
also think, regarding what you said about, going, okay, I'm going to step in and give you this example from my life. I feel like I like to believe that we wind up across from whoever we're meant to wind up across
Yeah.
from, whether I'm reading or being read for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I trust that the way I deliver information is going to be in a way that that person can understand it and integrate it.
Yes.
And and I think this over the years now because I know other readers that get wildly different clientele than I do. Like I would say 75% of my readings are first timers. And I think that
Yeah.
that is not, I think it's not, or I think it's on purpose. Sorry.
I
Um,
think that as well. I get a lot of first timers and I can relate to that. And I think it's because the way we can portray information will
mhm.
be a lot easier, but
Yes.
also we're very comfortable to sit in our energy. So if someone comes over to our table, we will
Mhm.
make them feel comfortable. And I
Yes.
think that's why we get a lot of, I like to call them my wee virgins.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm breaking your tarot
Yeah.
virginity, mediumship reading. I love it. I love it. And I totally agree with you, but I think that is because we are very focused on making people feel comfortable. We don't like people feeling uncomfortable. We don't like it ourselves. So we always
Exactly.
reassure our clients, by the way, there's nothing to be stressed about. I'm a normal person. I
Yeah.
just talk to dead people. That's all it is.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I think I often dress like a kindergarten art teacher. So I think it's and I have blue hair for people who can't see me. Um
yeah.
and like facial piercings. So I mean, maybe that's scary to some people, but I think it also makes me pretty approachable to others. But you know, like yes, and the thing is like what you're saying about how we want to make people feel when they approach us is, also stems from like back when I was looking for readings before
Mhm,
I could do it myself, and
mhm,
like it's so important to me to be able to, like, I'm not going to lie to anyone. I always say, there's readers out there who are like, I just tell it like it is, or I don't sugarcoat anything, I have no filter. Okay, well, that doesn't give you carte blanche to be a dick. Because people are generally coming to you
yeah,
because they're in pain,
mhm,
in discomfort,
yep,
they need guidance, they feel stuck.
yeah,
So I take it as seriously as though I were like a trained counselor,
definitely,
and
100%.
it's not that I'm going to lie to anyone,
No,
but I think there's a compassionate way to say everything.
definitely. And I think ending off of that though, there's like rules. I feel as if we've got like just like a unconscious set of rules that there's things that we'd never discuss. There was things that we would never like. Do you know what I mean? I would never ask my guides for any sort of information that would give anybody distress anyway, and I would never want them to give me. Like
Hmm.
that's I've never like that's kind of like set up between me and my guides. Like I
Right.
don't want to ever be told that sort of
Hmm.
information. There's no need to be like told that, so never block
Yeah.
it. But I feel as if like a lot of people don't realise the damage that they can do with their words.
Hmm.
And I feel as if like a lot of people those I feel like I get a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, I love how honest you are, Justine," and I'm like, "That's great, but I'm still nice. I'm
Yeah.
honest. I know they're going to come to me. I'm going to tell them the truth,
Yeah. Exactly.
but I'm nice about it. I'm
Uh-huh.
not like, do you know what I mean? I'm giving them the news, but there's a wee fluffy cloud round about it that's making that a wee bit pretty.
Right.
As much as the news might not be the best,
Right.
but the way that it's delivered is so much better that they understand it and they get it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I feel as if that's, do you know what I mean, that is a total difference. And I feel as if that then comes into people's ego. And
Mhm.
that's why I've started this podcast is to share the people that I know I can trust, and I know that people can go to and get readings and do therapy sessions and whatever it may be, so that they've got people that are genuinely want to help them heal.
Yeah.
And they're not just in it for the coin. Of course, we've got to make money, we've got bills to pay, but that person that you're paying is
Yeah.
prioritising you. They're not prioritising that coin that you're handing over to them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's the difference that I feel there's like a big, there's a big difference from it, and it's scary.
It is. It absolutely can be. And again, like I always try to approach it from like what would I want out of a reading and a reader? I want to be
Exactly.
with someone that I feel comfortable and safe with, and that's what I want to give to people when they
Yeah,
sit with me, you know,
hundred
to be
percent.
judgment free, safe space, you
Yeah,
know, to the best of my ability. And, you know, I want you to walk away not feeling like doom and gloom. I want you to feel clear and confident that you have the information to
hundred.
make the best decisions for yourself. I give everybody the same spiel when I start a reading. Absolutely everybody. I say, if you hear anything you don't like, throw it away.
Yeah.
Nothing is set in stone. Everybody has free will, and you can
Hmm.
walk out of here and go, fuck everything that girl just said.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's so true. And I think a lot of people need to hear that, though. And I'm so glad that you've said that, because I think a lot of people can get hung up on the words of the psychic. Just say for talking sake, if this is why I don't do like pregnancy health or legal stuff, but
mhm,
somebody that's trying to conceive or
mhm,
wants to conceive goes to somebody for that reading, and they might not get the information that they want to hear, but it's the whole fact of they then get hung up on that information when
mhm,
they're only a messenger. They're not. And the thing is, as well, as you said, we don't need to take any of that. We
mhm.
don't need to listen to a word. If we don't like what that person says,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's your feelings. That you're allowed to feel that way.
Right. And that ties in to manifestation. And I don't want to like get off course here, but it ties into
Right.
manifestation because,
Mhm.
you know, what does it say? Energy flows where focus goes.
Yes.
But like, again, I take that from a page out of my own book because there was a year, maybe 15 plus years ago, where all of the readings I got over now, all the readings I got over that year
Hmm.
I was told I was going to get pregnant. And I'm someone who knew I never wanted children. I was like, the fuck I am. So,
I'm Auntie. That's me.
yeah, like I said, weird magical Anne through and through. Knew that since I was young. So, you know, you make different choices.
Yeah.
And here we are 15
Yeah.
plus years later, and I have two lovely nieces and one nephew.
There you go. That's your children, your nieces and your
Yes,
nephew. But that
yes.
was the same. I think I got a reading about 18 months ago, and it's like, you're going to be pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not.
Mm-mm.
No, you're going to
Exactly.
be pregnant with that girl you want. And I'm like, yeah, as much as I would love a girl, it's not
Mm-mm.
happening. I've got my
Mm-mm.
nieces. If they have any children, then I'll have my children for that. If my own children have child, I'm like, this body is not this vessel. It's shut. It's not baby making anymore. The
Mm-mm.
oven is closed for
Yeah.
business. But it's true though.
Uh-huh.
Like, first reading I got for a young age, I was told I was going to have a boy and a girl. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I had two
Yeah.
boys. Do you
Uh-huh.
know what I mean? But there's other elements of that reading that I would go, she was spot on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There was little snippets in that reading that I will never forget that person told us, because she was right. She was
Yeah.
totally right, because she said, if you do this, you're going to go boom boom, but if you don't and you hold off, you're going to go boom and boom. And she got the genders wrong, but she got the timing right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So and it was because we held off a couple of years, and she said, you're going, if you have kids now, she said, you're going to have them all together. She said, but
Yeah.
if you hold off, she said, you'll have one, and then it'll be a few years, and then you'll have the next.
Yeah.
And that was right. And there's a couple other wee things that I
Yeah.
was a bit like, but then like
Mm-hmm.
as I got older, I'm like, oh,
I
shouldn't freak
know.
out.
I know. I love looking back on that stuff. It's so fun.
It's so much fun. And I remember an older lady, remember the ones you would go to like your friend's house and you would be in and out the bedroom, obviously
Yeah.
getting the readings. She's doing the cards and she's a cat. And it was a card, I remember loads of rabbits on it. She's like, "You're very fertile." I'm like, "Oh, am I?" She's like, "You're like
Uh-huh.
your granny." My granny
Oh.
had 13 children. Sadly, only 7 survived, but she was pregnant 13 times.
Wow.
But as I've got older, I'm like, I'm nothing
Mhm.
with baby. It's the animals. See the amount of animals that I've got. That was her. Like, she's like, yeah, just she's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm just, you're very fertile. She's
Yeah.
like, you're going to be carried, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I had only 2 physical children, as in, but I
Yeah.
have got 4 fur babies that are my
Yeah.
children. Plus, I want to have obviously my farm. So I'm like, it's like people know everything in a reading's going to happen instantly. Do you know what I mean? That reading that I
Mhm.
got when I was 18, things happened like 10 years later. And then
Mhm.
obviously the reading that I got off of that lady, I was maybe about 23.
Mhm.
And then that again is not happened till like 7 years later. So
Yeah.
it's like people need to, like you're saying, it's like they need to take what they need from it
Yeah.
and see whatever is not needed. It'll come up later on
Yeah.
if it needs to.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I actually do have a story you reminded me of with
Oh,
your children one.
oh, tell us.
Yeah. So my grandmother, when she married my grandfather, it was her second marriage.
Right.
Her first husband, I believe, passed away. And so she was in her 50s. He had passed. They had had no children. And she was with some people on the boardwalk and went to one of these, like, very, very kitschy, kind of suspicious, boardwalk palm readers, tarot
Yeah.
readers, whatever. And the lady told her she was going to have 6 kids. She's in her mid 50s and she's like, "Ugh, whatever,
Not
you
a chance.
fucking quack." Well, fast forward a few years, and she met my grandfather and started dating him, and they got married. And my grandfather did have 6 children from his first marriage.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep.
So it wasn't her physically having the
Uh
kids,
huh.
but she did have her 6 children. That gave me goosebumps. That
Oh my
story.
gosh.
That is a goosebumpy story. That's a very much because that's like one of the ones that's like, oh, like do you know what I mean? You're walking with your friends, you're having a laugh, and it's like, let's pop in here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they say. And then
Yep.
before you know it, it's like, yeah, well then
Oh my gosh. See, that's one of my favorite things. Like when people will come to me and because I do read at a store locally, so when people come in,
mhm,
once in a while they'll say, "Oh, can my friend sit in or can my partner sit in?"
mhm,
Whatever. And like I have no problem with that. Other
yeah,
people do. I have
yeah.
no problem with it. But it cracks me up when I'm reading for one of them and I'm
Oh,
looking at one of them
another
and
one's like that.
like nodding or they like
I love it.
snap their
I
head
love
toward their
that.
friend and they start like guilty laughing, you
It's
know?
so, but do you not think though if they do have a friend or a loved one with them, you get the validation that you need so much easier.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because you
And
can just see the wee Churchill head going, yep,
yep,
that's right, yep. And
yep.
it's like, come and sit beside me. Come just sit there.
Uh-huh.
And you can just go, yep, Justine, that's it. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. Keep going, keep going.
Yep.
It's so true.
It's so funny. I love that stuff.
It is so much funny. But I'm going to let you go because I know that our time is obviously running away with us because I can't believe how long we've been talking already.
Mhm.
I will hopefully get you back on for the second season, my darling.
I hope so.
Yeah, it would be good. I feel as if like it might be a bit long, so I think we definitely need yeah, we need a longer episode where we
Sure.
just have a wee cup of tea.
Absolutely. Yes.
And just
I'm,
have a wee talk. I think that should definitely be.
I've got my little tea station and kettle right here, so I'm set. I'm good.
I just need to get a wee fridge in here and then I'll be fine. I'll have my
Oh, there
candy
you go.
Crush Max.
Yeah.
But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Sam. I feel as if this episode's definitely been more of it's like just two psychic friends just talking about being a psychic, which I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I feel as if it's definitely twisted it up a wee bit different, and it's a different vibe, which I think a lot of our viewers and listeners will be thankful for, hopefully, because I think that a lot of people should have taken a good bit of information away from being a client
Yeah,
and kind of
yeah,
what to expect, and in a sense, what to keep an eye out for,
yeah,
what to
absolutely.
avoid as well. I feel as if that's definitely, I think that might be a lot of our next one.
Oh,
The
we,
do's and the don'ts.
we've got time to plan, Lord knows.
Oh, definitely. But thank you again, my darling, for
Thank
having
you
us.
for having
Please
me.
make sure you give Sam a follow. All her details are down below. So make sure you're following her TikTok and Instagram. And then if you want to book anything, obviously go over to the website, or I'm sure you can slide into our wee DMs.
Absolutely,
There we
absolutely.
go. Yes. Thank you so, so much, Sam.
Thank you. It's been awesome. Thank you.